Hey there, and welcome to the Hey Kahla Podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Evans, and in this episode, I thought I would give you a bit of a more in depth introduction to me and my world, beyond that cute little podcast trailer that I have. This is going to be a behind the scenes, if you will. First, I want to say thank you so much for joining me. My entire speaking career has been built around this idea that no matter what stage I'm on or what studio I'm in, it's my living room. Like this is actually my living room, but the stage, the studio, that's my living room. And I'm inviting my audience in to sit down, get cozy, have a chat. So I hope you're comfortable, and I hope you know that if you ever have any questions or ideas or stories you'd like to share, I'm always just an email away at info@heykayla.com. So, about me, like I said, nice and comfortable in my living room. If we've never met before, I am a professional chatterbox, and I've actually spent the last 20 years on the mic, and I've done it all. I've been speaking for a living as a TV and radio personality. I've been a host, an MC, and a lecturer. If you're in Canada, I've been an anchor on all the major networks in our country, so CBC, CTV, and Global News. I've also traveled and worked on documentaries with World Vision, which was an incredible experience. I've also worked a lot in the sporting world, so in the CFL, the NHL, and the AHL, and I've hosted and reported at Saskatchewan Roughrider games, Winnipeg Blue Bomber games, the Winnipeg Jets, and Manitoba Moose games. And I've also been fortunate enough to guest lecture at the University of Winnipeg, plus numerous emceeing and hosting gigs for different businesses, charities, and organizations in all the different provinces I've lived in. I've lived in almost every province, and I've worked coast to coast here in Canada until I left my traditional network job back in 2022, and I launched my own company, which is called Hey Kahla Media. So, after years of working in television and radio and interviewing people for a living, including the most incredible community leaders and founders and nonprofit groups, I started to realize that a lot of the folks that I was interviewing, they were really nervous about going on air and sharing their message, which was really unfortunate because their message and their stories, they would help so many other people who heard them. So I would coach them and walk them through the process, give them pep talks, give them some tips and tricks, get them through it. And I would start to see them relax. And then they would crush these interviews. And watching them change and seeing them become more confident and get their message out there, that quickly became my favorite part of my job, that 10 minutes or so that I would spend with them before we went live on air. And I just remember thinking, this is it. This is how I truly help people. Like, this is what I am here for. And the rest of the job was actually becoming fairly miserable. I was waking up at 2:30 in the morning because I worked in morning television at the time and morning radio. It was pandemic back in those days. So all I was hearing was negative pandemic news for 10 plus hours a day. And again, it was really taking its toll on me. I loved the guests and I loved my work family, but little things started to pile up after doing this for nearly 2 decades. And even though I loved most of my career, and I wouldn't change a single incredible experience or person I met or opportunity I had, I remember one morning, I guess it would have been the summer of 2022, I just woke up and I lay there thinking, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't know if I can even walk in that building right now. And I didn't want to be told who to be or what to say or how to look or what to do on the weekends. And I just knew right then and there that something had to change. So I left and I took the best parts of it with me, my friendships and relationships I built with the people that I admire and care for. And I started my own public speaking practice, and that's what I do now. And honestly, Hey Kahla Media, it's everything that I want to give the world: support, encouragement, my knowledge, and in turn, it's given me what I wanted most, which was my freedom. And following my gut and taking the chance to do my own thing and build my own career in life, it's hands down been the best freaking decision I have ever made. I've never been happier. I feel like I've built something incredible and something that really makes a difference. So when I first left my on air, I would go live twice a week on Instagram at the time. Monday mornings, I did Coffee with Kayla. If you've ever seen them, it was a super casual sit down style live where we chatted about mindset stuff and tips to build confidence. We did journaling prompts, affirmations, mantras, that kind of thing. And then Thursday evenings were coaching with Kayla, where I would teach on public speaking and take questions from our community. Then a couple months ago, I found myself really needing to take a step back from Insta. It was just too much. It was a lot. Social media sometimes can get the best of you. So I took a step back and I really wasn't sure where I wanted to host my content or what format or direction that I wanted to take it in. And people have told me pretty much since the day that I left my former job that I should have a podcast. But I always thought the same things that I think a lot of us think, like it's too late. Like I'm 22 years too late to this party now. Everyone and their brother already has a podcast. I'll never think of enough topics to cover. Who am I to do this? Da, 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 da. So I never even entertained the idea until now. I've been missing the old days of jumping on a mic and talking to people. I listen to podcasts all the time. I'm always up for a new challenge. And one day, about a week ago, I thought, why not? If I hate it, I'll stop. If I love it, I'll keep going. And the thing that I took as a sign, because I do believe in the universe and signs, was something that popped up on my Pinterest last week. And it said, it's better to admit you walked through the wrong door than to spend your entire life in the wrong room. And I took that to mean, you know what? Try out podcasting. Again, if you walk through the wrong door, you can just shut it down. You don't have to stay in the wrong room your entire life and suffer through it. So that's how I'm approaching this. No pressure, just having fun with it and inviting people into my living room for a chat. There's really no format here. I think I'm just going to share stories from my career and my current life, what's going on. Advice, of course, on building up your confidence and overcoming your self-doubt and fears. That is my forte. That's what I'm an expert in. And as well, just chat about fun stuff that lights me up, that lights us up. Like I mentioned, I'm really into the universe, spirituality, manifestation. I love books. I'm a massive reader, especially cheesy romance novels. Speaking of cheesy love stories, I'm a big fan of reality TV. I love 90 Day Fiance, like all 50 seasons, all 20 spinoffs. I love them all. I watch them all the time. 90% of the time, that's what's on my TV is some sort of 90 Day Fiance rewatch, rerun. And then just whatever else I discover that I have a love for. And I feel like that's really the best thing about making your own things. They can be whatever your little heart desires. And that's what my mama always used to say. You can have whatever your little heart desires. And I think that's a really good reminder for us. I have it written down on my bulletin board in my office. And I think about that all the time. You can create your own life and you can have whatever your little heart desires. So that's what I'm doing here. Thank you again so much for hanging out with me. You can go ahead and follow the Hey Kahla podcast. Feel free to share it with anyone else you think might like the vibe here. And then you can always come hang out on Insta after. I'm back on Insta. For more inspo and chit chat, you can find me over there on Instagram at Hey Kahla. I am a genius at branding and naming things, you'll notice. I'm actually really, really poor at naming things, but my number one thing about public speaking and confidence that I would like to instill in people is to be yourself. And that's literally why my business is called Hey Kahla Media and the podcast is called the Hey Kahla Podcast, because I'm not great at naming things. I'm really not. I've never named a single pet. Either a sibling has named it or I've just kept its name from the rescue or the shelter. And I just believe in being yourself. So here you go. Insta, like I said, at Hey Kahla. You can also sign up for my free weekly newsletter and join the Rebel Speaking Society. And that is pure public speaking and confidence tips and tricks. The link is in the show notes. And of course, for anything and everything else, you can always head on over to heykahla.com or send me a note at info@heykahla.com. And I hope you have the best day.